So, hi everyone, Ashish this side back again. And today we are going to have a very special session on AI World Cup. So, this is going to be a data science. Okay, just give me a second. I think the audio is repeating. Abhay, like, is it the audio from your side or? Okay, okay, great. So there was some disturbance in the beginning, and I think we are good to go now. Okay, sorry. So now we are good to go. So hi everyone, back again. Ashish this side, and today we are going to have a very special session. We are going to discuss about a World Cup. For that purpose, we are also having a very special guest, Abhay Sharma, with us. He has worked in EY for 3 years. He's working as a consultant and he has worked in data analyst, data science, and machine learning field. Apart from that, I see he's actually like currently in UK. So welcome, Abhay, for the session. And at the meantime, also like this is going to be a very informative session. We are going to discuss about different aspects of it, and we are like this special, as you can see from the title itself, scoring goals with artificial intelligence. So Abhay is going to like show their insights, her insight, his insight as per his experience in this session. So hi Abhay, how are you?
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, Ashish.
Okay, great. So from now onward, like session is to you, Abhay, and at the
Sure.
meantime, like at the end of the session, we are also going to have a doubt session. So if you are having any question, anything for Abhay, so make sure to add it in the comments. So over to you, Abhay.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction, Ashish. I'm so excited to be here. Firstly, thank you, Geeks for Geeks, and thank you to everybody who's in the chat today. I will be sharing my screen. I have a few interesting things to share with all of you in the AI space, and how you could be a part of this trend and where this space is leading to us. So let me share my screen, Ashish. Let me know if my screen is visible to you in a minute. Yep. Can you see my screen now? Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to you. Let me know if it is not. All right. So, firstly, so the Cricket World Cup is on right now, and I will be using a few references from cricket here and there, but there's cricket and much more. So, my titles look like everything's for cricket, but it's not. So I have a few very interesting things to share with you. The first thing is the coin toss of the digital age, the AI all-rounder, fair play, and the last one, which is from pavilion to the pitch, which is how you move from being a spectator to being a part of this AI, right? Now, first thing to understand is what is AI, right? AI stands for artificial intelligence. Fair enough. But John McCarthy, back in 1956, he said that AI is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, right? That is AI in very simple terms. So basically, any machine that can think for itself, of course, there is always a human intervention. Humans are the ones who are building AI and robots, but after a certain point, the machine will be able to think for itself. I think one of the first exposures that a lot of us have had with respect to robots and with AI is something like from a movie of Rajnikant, right? The robot movie, where is Chitti the Robo, right? That was a part of AI, right? So AI has always been there, but we did not really know the term back then, right? So AI is super important. I have a lot more to share with you, which is from the Gartner hype cycle. So Gartner is this very famous company. It's spread across multiple countries, and they do a lot of consulting in the tech, the data science, and AI area. And every year they release something called as the hype cycle. And I would recommend all of you to check out the hype cycle that Gartner releases. This is for AI and for machine learning, data science, and all the technologies in general that are coming up. If you look at this curve here, we want to be a part of this curve, right? All of us here should be a part of this curve because this is super relevant, right? This is super relevant. I'll tell you how. If you look at the innovation trigger, the first part, right? These are something which are in the initial stage, right? These are something, there are like a few research papers that have come out. There's just been a couple of hands-on technologies or tools that have come out for these topics. Like you have AI simulation, you have data-centric AI, you have AI Trism for security and risk management, right? These will be the future in maybe 5 or 10 years. Furthermore, if you look at the peak of inflated expectations, which is where we all are somewhat currently, which is the generative AI. Right? I have a lot of things for generative AI, including Chat GPT and Midjourney. Right? So generative AI is going to be extremely relevant. If you look at the industry leaders, right? Now I've currently been living in the UK, and generative AI is extremely relevant in the UK as well, and India, and across the world, right? So generative AI is going to be the future, right? And it is something where, like, example is your mid journey. You put in a set of instructions and it generates an image for you, right? So that is a part of generative AI. On the other hand, slightly towards the right, you have something called as the slope of enlightenment and plateau of productivity, which is basically more stabilized technology. For example, you have, let's say, computer vision. Now, computer vision, it's been a while that computer vision is out in the market, and it's been a while that people are developing things on it. So it's slightly more stable, right? There are ample of opportunities in computer vision. There are a lot of libraries in Python, for example, for computer vision. So that is your scope of enlightenment and plateau of productivity. And this is a hype cycle. I would want all of you, to just go back after the session and research more about this, see what is your interest specifically and where you want to be in the hype cycle. It's going to be mostly towards generative AI and synthetic data and all of that. Moving on, AI in the 2023 World Cup. The World Cup is on, the Cricket World Cup is on, and we're all supporting our country right now. And AI is extensively being used in the Cricket World Cup as well. I've taken a few screenshots of different newspaper articles that I was reading. Firstly, it's Boat, right? Now, Boat is a pretty popular company, right? We've all heard of Boat. We've some of us are also using products of Boat, the earphone and the wearables and all of that. So Boat has unveiled an AI generated India anthem for the Cricket World Cup. It's sung by Vishal Datlani, but the entire video is AI generated, which is very interesting. If you look at Royal Stag, so Royal Stag has also come up with a campaign of an AI-led experience for its cricket fans, where basically you upload a video or a picture of yourself, and you can it automatically creates a video of you along with the cricket players on the field. So it's basically like somebody else's body, but your face is on it, right? So it's you, right? And this is completely AI generated. This is an AI-led experience. Finally, Disney Plus Hotstar, right? So Disney Plus Hotstar has given five new features, and one of them is the biggest one is for AI, right? So AI is detecting your mobile capabilities. It's detecting, what are your surroundings like, and what's the strength of your signal and all of that, and then it is helping you to stream your videos better. Moving on, coming to the slightly more technical part, AI and predictive analytics, which is basically the coin toss of the digital age. Here, I've tried to write this down in very simple terms, right? So here, I've written AI is used to predict match outcomes, much like the toss of a coin in cricket, right? So AI is basically you're giving an input, right? It is helping you predict something, and predictive analytics is another subset, and it is extremely relevant even when you're doing machine like data science and all of that. But it is extremely useful for AI as well. AI has a lot of data, it's got a lot of algorithms, and most importantly, are the training models, right? So if you look at, let's say, if you're looking at something like Chat GPT versus Bard, right? So there's always this competition, like which is better. right? The difference between them is basically the models, right? It is basically the kind of parameters they're using, right? So data, algorithms, and models become very important to make any predictions. It becomes very important for anything that you're doing in the AI sector as well. Next is, a lot of sports teams and companies are using AI to enhance their business requirements or to make players better. For example, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but if you watch the IPL, which is the Indian Premier League, it's a cricket match played between different states in India, right? So a few teams, like if you look at Chennai Super Kings, if you look at RCB, if you look at Rajasthan Royals, right? These teams are using data science. They have a dedicated data science and an AI team as well. If you look at some of the top teams in basketball, if you look at some of the top teams in, let's say, football, they are all using AI. They are all using AI simulations. They want to know what is the ideal combination for a match, a particular match, right? Like, example, let's say there's a player, right? That's a cricket player. Now, he or she might not be the perfect player for a particular match, but because the coach likes it, or because they have a gut intention, or you know what, this player always does it better, or this player always plays well, he puts him on the field, and this player does not perform, then that's a mistake. On the other hand, if you're using AI can already predict it for you. It can already give you a simulation. It can form this perfect, almost perfect combination, which is data backed. It takes the history and it's predicting. It's giving you a simulation of when a player can be injured. So if you look at sports like basketball or football, the chances of getting injured are a lot more, right? For any sport for that matter, right? So it'll help you to also predict player injuries as well. Of course, you have the stock market, right? All of us, a lot of us are involved in finance and stock market, so you can also predict. You can do AI simulations there. You can also do climate modeling, very important for where I'm living right now. Always, it could always rain. It could anytime rain. Like I see three different seasons in an entire in one day, right? Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's snowing, it's sunny all of a sudden, but AI can help you to predict it, right? So this could be on very large scales. This could be to predict, let's say, maybe a hurricane, right? A cyclone, right? Or it could be very simple, like me checking out what the weather is going to be like today. Finally, role of machine learning and neural networks is again important for predicting your accuracy, which I have with me in some time. That I've spoken about the role of machine learning in AI as well. Now, AI is growing faster than you think, right? I have a screenshot of Midjourney. This so Midjourney is this platform. It's a company. It's got its own Discord server, where what they do is basically, if you're giving in an input, it's going to generate an image for you, right? Let's say you're typing in a baby sitting on a beach. It's going to generate an image for you, right? It's not going to be it's not taking a real baby from, it's not from the real world, but rather it's generating it for you. It's something like an artist, right? It's a painter who's doing that for you. Now, Midjourney, it had its first version in March 2022, right? Look at the image, right? So, Baby Yoda, right, from Star Wars, right? So, look at the kind of image that Midjourney created. It got slightly better in April, right? It was still not there. I could still see two faces. V3 was much better, right? Much more realistic. V4 was much more closer. Now, also observe the time span, right? This is July, and in the same year, in November, it's got a version 4 update, right? So it's getting much more closer to what a particular fictional character would look like. And you have V5, right, which is released in March of this year. This looks very realistic, right? Now compare. It's been just 1 year. Look at the version 1, the V1, and look at V5, right? These are two very opposite worlds, okay? But the the input is the same, right? I'm always asking it to generate, let's say, Mickey Mouse or Baby Yoda in this case, right? So AI is growing extremely fast, right? A lot of us have been using Chat GPT. We've particularly used GPT 3, 3.5, and some of us have used 4. Now, the difference between 3 and 4 is basically the number of parameters. Now, uh, these parameters are like an estimate, right? So, GPT-3 had 175 billion parameters, which is a lot. And all of us were happy with it. We were all experimenting. GPT-4 is almost 1,000 times more than that. It has 1.7 trillion parameters. So, it's much more like real world. It's much more like a human is answering. It's much more like an expert who's answering, and you get the answer that you deserve, right? Finally, you have the immersive AI, which has been released by, it's not been released, but it's currently in development. But Sundar Pichai had this talk recently, and I would want to show you a video of that, where he talks about immersive AI. Again, very useful.
Using advances in 3D mapping and machine learning, we are fusing billions of aerial and street level images to create a new high fidelity representation of a place. These breakthrough technologies are coming together to power a new experience in maths called immersive view. It allows you to explore a place like never before. You can get into this immersive view straight from maps on your phone, and you can pan around the sites. Here's Westminster Abbey. And if you're thinking of heading to see Big Ben, you can check if there's traffic, how busy it is, and even see the weather forecast. It's London, so I'm guessing it's rain. Now, if you're looking to grab a bite during your visit, you can check out restaurants nearby and get a glimpse inside.
Right, so that was a video from Sundar Pichai's talk, where he's talking about immersive AI, right? So if you've seen the video, right, it could give you a real-time perspective. It'll tell you if it's raining or not, or what does the traffic look like. Currently, Google only shows that it's red, right? We get this long red queue, but we don't really know how it looks like. Okay, but Google is going to come up with that, and that's a part of AI as well. But very important, AI has its own limitations. Right now, this is a screenshot from PayPal support. So PayPal is like this payment gateway. It's something like Google Pay and Paytm that we have in India, right? So PayPal first said, "Hi, I'm PayPal. I'm a virtual assistant." So a customer came on board and he said, "I got scammed." So PayPal replied, "Great." Right? Which is not a very good thing to reply to when someone is getting scammed, right? AI has its own limitations, right? AI can sometimes be biased as well, which is why ethics in AI become very important, right? Which is why we need human intervention. It does not have emotions. It does not know you're feeling sad or worried if you're scammed. Rather, it's saying, great, right? So again, that is another spectrum of AI where you could work on, and we'll discuss more about this. Now, it's important to know the different types of AI apps as well, because you'll be hearing them a lot, right? You have machine learning, right? So machine learning is basically, it's like a category of algorithms. So it's using, all historical data, and then it's learning, and then it's predicting, and it's giving you an outcome. Then you have deep learning, right? So deep learning is a subset of machine learning. It is focusing mainly on neural networks. It's got multiple layers, right? It's also called as the deep neural networks. Finally, you have neural networks itself. So neural networks are something like, it's like a simulation of our brains and neurons. So you have this network of neurons that are interconnected, and they've been learning from each other. Very important, coming to the role of machine learning in AI. So like I told you, ML is a subset of AI. So ML is there to enhance, ML is there to enhance your AI's capabilities. It is giving you a much better and more realistic outcome for any input that you would type in. Machine learning also has very important aspects for AI. First, it's a data-driven learning. So much, ML, all your ML algorithms are taking your historical data, and they are analyzing it, right? And they are predicting. Next, it is important for your training and develop model development as well. Like I told you, in AI or in ML, your model is your game changer, right? Any company that's gonna hire you, right? Any company, or once you're hired, they would want you to work on models, right? Model improvement or developing new models or optimizing the current model. So it becomes a very important part of AI. Next is your feature extraction, right? It is basically extracting meaningful features for complex data types. And then you have pattern recognition, right? So, like for example, there could be a credit card fraud, right? And so if there are, let's say, 10,000 customers in a bank, two of them might commit a fraud. So ML is going to help you detect these patterns. So even healthcare is using a lot of ML and AI. For example, you might be putting in your symptoms. Do I have COVID or not? Do I have fever or not? Right? So you're putting in different symptoms. And you could have something like a chatbot that is basically asking you different questions like a doctor does, and then it tells you if you have a particular disease or a flu or not. Finally, is the continuous improvement, right? So it is basically adapting to new data, right? You shouldn't overfit your models that you're working on, and you should the efficiency should also increase over time. Again, ML has a lot of applications in AI. A few of them are your image and object recognition. It could detect your faces and objects as well. You have natural language processing, NLP. So it's just speech recognition. Like, for example, you have your Siri, you could have probably your Bixby, your Google, all of that. You have predictive analytics as well. So you're forecasting. So you're working as, let's say, an AI engineer, you're working as a business analyst. So you're helping predict outcomes as well. And then finally, you have personalized recommendations as well. So you're shopping on, let's say, Amazon, right? You'd always get this frequently bought together thing, right? Or if you're watching a movie on Netflix, right, you also get that. You also get a lot of recommendations, right? Ideal top picks for you, right? Or you get people who've watched this have also watched these shows, right? So all of that is your ML and AI, right? So again, the future of intelligent systems, robots and AI is always a mix between your AI and machine learning. Now, we've spoken a lot about AI, we've spoken a bit about ML as well, right? But it's very important to know where do you start from, because there are thousands of resources, thousands of books. It's all over the world, right? It's the buzzword, to be honest, right? So where do you start from? You have level one, which is basically your informed decision maker. You understand the definitions of ML, AI, neural networks, and um, on natural language processing, right? All of these different things. You understand the potential that AI and ML has. You have applications as well. Very important, a note which a lot of beginners miss out is you need to know what you want to use AI for. And according to that, you'll be diving into these different spectrums. Do you want to work on healthcare? Do you want to work on sports? Right? And according to that, it's going to change. And you will be diving deeper into one of these. It could be supervised, it could be unsupervised or semi-supervised or reinforcement, right? So it's important to know what exactly do you want to work on so that you can dive deeper, right? But if you're just learning, you're up for exploring, you've not figured out, you could explore everything. Like I said, you could start with level one. You could understand the different potentials and different applications of it, and move on to being a competent developer, right? It's basically, you need to know the math that goes behind ML. You need to know a bit of ML algorithms, and then how do you use Python and create these pipelines. Finally, is being an expert developer, right? Nobody can be perfect, but you could be good at something, could be great at something as well. So you could start building machine learning. You could machine learning models for intelligent systems. You could use statistical machine learning as well, which is more math based, and it has something like, let's say, your self-driving cars as well, right? So all of these will involve an intermediate to an advanced level of understanding of math and ML and Python, and all of that. Coming to the most interesting part, which not a lot of people talk about because it's sometimes hidden by top companies, is ethics in AI, right? Fair play. So you have an umpire in cricket, you have referees in different sports. So ethics become very important. You need someone who's regulating AI for you, right? And I picked up a few very interesting and real world case studies. First one is your Amazon. Right? Amazon is a very big firm. So back in 2018, Amazon developed an AI system for the hiring process. However, when the system was found to be biased against women, it had learned from historical hiring data. So what happened? Amazon wanted to hire more people. It was like experimenting its AI and ML models. Women were getting rejected more, although they had their CV was strong and they performed really well in all the rounds. They were getting rejected, and Amazon was relying on this AI model. So that is being biased, right? Is that ethical? No, right? Second is your content moderation. A lot of times you might be putting up something on the internet and then it gets removed, right? Because it could be uh, you're trying to go something against, let's say, censorship, or you're saying something unparliamentary and all of that. But you've just put a picture of yourself and everything is fine. So again, if companies, if social media companies are using AI and if it gets flagged the wrong way, it could be something of an ethical concern. You could be putting up something very useful for the world, right? You could be putting up information about safety, about health, and about anything that is important for a lot of people. But social media or the bots in social media are flagging it the wrong way, so that becomes again a matter of concern. Then you have Compass. So this is again from 2016, which is basically racial bias against against blacks. So this was in America, in US, where blacks were charged more for criminal cases, and they were being flagged for every crime that was being committed, right? Which was wrong, although they did not, right? And finally you have deep fakes and misinformation, where people could just come up and create a video of you dancing, but you've never danced, you're not a dancer. It could create a video of a very popular personality trying to do something wrong, right? And that becomes a concern. They could upload a video of a prime minister saying wrong things, which is misinformation. But you have the video, you have the prime minister or the president of a country talking in it, and it looks like him or her, but it's not, right? So deep fakes also become a very sensitive matter, because there could be large misinformation, there could be riots. This happened in Myanmar as well. There could be riots. It could go on a very large scale. So ethics become important. You could also work. So some of you might be from a, let's say, a non-technical background. You like AI, you want to work with AI, but you're not really sure if you can work on the tools. You could still be a part of ethics in AI. You could still regulate, you could still develop things, or you could establish guidelines that help AI in being more realistic and more non-judgmental. Finally, there's a quote by Walt Disney which says, "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." Right, which all of us should do. I'll give you a very simple example. Right, it's going to be something very relevant as well. Like, we had this cryptocurrency and Bitcoin boom during the lockdown, and all of us, at least a lot of us, or at least I, was regretting, why didn't I invest in Bitcoin back in 2012, 2013? I could have been a millionaire. I could have been a billionaire. I could have retired in my 20s itself. I should have invested in Ethereum and whatnot, right? And I think a lot of us have felt that, right? The same thing is happening with AI as well. AI, it's somewhat in its initial stages. So if you go back to the Gartner's hype cycles, if you look at the innovation trigger, you have data centric AI, you have AI engineering, you have all of these different concepts which are in its very nascent, or when it's in its earlier stages. The entire AI spectrum itself is very early, right? So you could just jump on it right? You could start exploring, you could pick up tools that help you be a part of this curve, that help you be relevant to the market as well, right? And for that, there's this a very famous, flowchart or diagram by Lee Heard, which talks about different AI applications as well, right? So you could be working for any of these sectors, right? You could be working in logistics. It could be fashion as well. It could be hospitality, and you have a lot of applications throughout these fields, right? You have automation, you have risk assessment, you have customer service. So no matter what background you're from, or where you are in your career, AI is still applicant in each of these different segments, right? So you could go through this slide in your free time, and that'll help you to understand where do you want to jump into and how you want to use AI in this segment. Finally, is very important is for you to jump on from the pavilion to the pitch. We've all been spectators of AI, and we've all been using ChatGPT 3 and Mid Journey and whatnot, right? It's making our life easier, but it's very important that you move on from being a spectator to being a player. You have to go to the pitch, you have to play, and that's when you're going to enjoy it, right? For that, Geeks for Geeks is coming up with special discount offers where it's giving up to 35% off on all of its courses, right? And this one is only valid until 21st of October. So I would urge all of you, and I would highly recommend you to go and check out a lot of courses that Geeks for Geeks has, and they're giving out an offer as well. There's also live interaction with influencers and industry experts. You could talk to people who are experts, who've been there, done that, right? Because it's important to talk to people who've who've gone through a lot of mistakes, right? Because you don't want to do them, right? Like for example, if someone is in this space for let's say 7 or 8 years and you're still a fresher, it's important to understand what this person has gone through and what are the important resources and applications that you could use, right? So that it basically helps you in cutting short your path, and it helps you to be relevant as well. And Geeks for Geeks is also conducting really exciting contests. It's got a lot of rewards as well, so you could give it a try. You could see where you stand, and it's also about learning, right? It is you could learn, you could learn from the contest, you could compete, and you could understand where do you stand and what you could get better at, or how the real world scenarios are like, right? So that should be it. If you want to connect with me, you could add me on LinkedIn. Type linkedin.com/onlyabhay. That's my URL. Or if you want to connect with me on Geeks for Geeks, it's my user ID is Abhay Sharma 101, right? So that should be it. That should be it from my end. I hope you've had something to take away, and I hope you've had an insight on how you could jump onto AI and where is AI heading towards, especially with machine learning and deep learning and neural networks. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Ashish, if there's anything.
Okay, great to have you, Abhay. So you have shown a pretty great insight on like the things that are currently working. For example, like in the mid journey examples that you have taken, and the GPT and other examples that are there. So I'm having just one question for you,
Sure.
like before ending the session, and that is, what's your last advice, like for this particular session, to the audience that we are having?
So my biggest advice is to jump onto the AI curve, be a part of AI as soon as you can, because AI will not take away jobs. It's going to be a part of your job, right? All of us are scared. Oh, will AI take away my job? No, it's not. Like even if it takes away, no matter which job you're working for, AI is going to be a part of it, right? And you need to be on this as early as possible. Like I told you, right? I was wondering during the lockdown phase as to why didn't I invest in cryptocurrency back in 2012? But I was too late for it. And by the time I invested, everything just fell down. The same thing is happening with AI. We are early. You have plenty of options. There's so much awareness spread by even Geeks for Geeks as well, which is amazing. So jump on it as soon as you can. Be a part of AI, and it's going to pay you really well.
Oh, great. So like nothing is gonna work unless you do. So start working on it, right?
Exactly.
Okay, great. So good to have you, Abhay. And
Thank you.
thank you so much for your time. And do like the session, do share the video with your peers so that they can also have an understanding how different industries are using AI. And one very important aspect that you have covered is about ethics in AI. So yeah, this is also a very important aspect to cover. So thank you so much, and thank you so much again. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Ashish. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.